The tourism sector in Mauritius has been an important pillar of its economy. But in recent years, it has been affected by the Eurozone crisis and some really stiff competition from other beach destinations. So, is it facing a stagnation? What are really the hurdles here? To take stock of this, we spoke to some of the stakeholders in this sector. In Mauritius, statistics show that though the absolute number of tourists generally hovers around the 1 million mark, there has actually been a dip in the overall revenues. Recent years have seen the sector facing an imbalance in demand and supply and the threat of stagnation.
I tend to distinguish between two periods. Prior to 2009, we were on the growth path, and this has been consistent for more than 40 years. Post 2009, as you are aware, we had a difficult 2009 year, which was a negative growth year. And from that date, even if we picked up, the numbers are just not there. Our directly competing destinations have been faring much better.
Speaking of competition, it is cutthroat and is mainly from destinations like the Maldivian islands and now Sri Lanka, which has been growing at a rapid pace.
I believe that we didn't look at those markets seriously in terms of the markets where Maldives and Sri Lanka were looking in terms of, say, the Asian markets.
Well, we operate in Maldives as well, so we see a very clear comparison in terms of demand. Actually, the growth in the Maldives was pretty remarkable last year, like it was the year before and the previous year. I think they reached around 17% from memory last year. The same thing has happened with Sri Lanka, and their growth has just been exponential in the last few years. Mauritius, I guess, the growth, from my experience in the last 4 years has been, we can say, sluggish. Well, I had some friends wanting to come to Mauritius last week from Australia, a small little group. But they said, look, Julian, give me a price at Lux Maldives because it's literally half the price in August, which is our low season here. And that is an issue that most of our supplier destinations, so France, UK, whether it's Europe, Australia and Asia, the choice to go to Mauritius is a very expensive choice.
Air access is a critical component of the demand-supply story, and experts say it requires a complete strategy overhaul.
The airline industry has gone through their own crisis. A company like Air Mauritius today is faced with a number of difficulties in terms of operations. The hiking price of oil and the high cost of air travel in terms of security and all these. The business decision to fly in here and out from here is today dictated by strong economic terms for the airline industry.
Air access aside, the other area of significance is destination promotion and the measures initiated to combat competition and adapt to evolving trends.
We have been able to actually to concentrate and to come with the private sector on one or two very, very focused promotion which are based on training of people, training of sellers, training of TOs, and which make them very good ambassadors to sales. Another aspect is the fact that we are actually now known as very, very good organizers for events. Then the third aspect has been the fact that we have been able to showcase Mauritius in the beautifully as MICE destination. Together with some incentives that have been given by government, we have been able to wrap up a kind of new image and new destinations for a new positioning of Mauritius.
These actions still have to see major results in terms of a makeover for the sector. But stakeholders and experts still sound optimistic.
I am a firm believer that the growth will keep on going, that we will bring more tourists to Mauritius, but maybe we must reinvent our model. We must focus on areas of challenges.
I think our tourism sector, what I will call now the hospitality cluster, will undergo some major structural changes in terms of product, moving from what was essentially a leisure product to a mix of leisure, health, education, MICE. Okay? But this must be seen in the context of the new economic model of Mauritius itself, in terms of Mauritius positioning itself as a platform between Asia and Africa.
Becoming an international tourist hub may be an ambitious goal, but not unachievable. It is one that needs structured planning with all stakeholders concerned, a need that seems to be acknowledged by the authorities.
The tourism sector is based on the three elements: accessibility, visibility, and attractiveness. So we need to address issues pertaining to cleanliness, pertaining to discipline, pertaining to, investment. And what I mean by investment is that, you need to give guarantee to people whatever spend they are making, they have real value for money.
Some groups are diversifying a lot, and they are succeeding. 3 years back, they were in the red, and today they are back to almost normal or great, if you want, in terms of financial health. So we need to continue diversifying.
For the Mauritius tourism sector to again experience its earlier days of glory, the powers that be need to come together as soon as possible and devise a clear, compelling blueprint to take it into the right path of growth.